Take a look at this data. A male Brazilian black tarantula is a commitment of 5 to 7 years, but a female stretches out to 20 years. Since determining a spiderling's sex is nearly impossible, it's a massive biological gamble. Keeping an animal alive for 2 decades means entirely abandoning the idea that you can just drop a bug into a plastic box and watch it crawl around. Instead, your actual job as a keeper is to become an architect. You must reverse engineer their native habitat, the grasslands of Brazil and Argentina. Whether your spider survives to reach that 20-year finish line depends entirely on how perfectly you can recreate a microscopic slice of the South American savanna right in your own home. We usually picture tarantulas scaling high branches or spinning massive aerial webs. The Brazilian black does none of that. They are heavy-bodied, strictly terrestrial hunters that stay low to the ground. This diagram compares the 2 main types of enclosures. Because these spiders are so robust, a fall from a tall arboreal tank can easily rupture their abdomen. These are fatal fall hazards. You must use a wide, low, 10 to 20-gallon terrestrial tank. Once they are safely on the ground, their deepest biological instinct takes over. They need to burrow into the earth to escape stress and regulate their body temperature. To let them do that, you have to mix the floor of the tank perfectly. The ideal dirt recipe is a loose blend of coconut fiber, peat moss, and vermiculite, and you need to pack that mixture deep. The substrate must reach at least 3 to 4 inches thick, so the spider has enough physical material to carve out a stable tunnel without it collapsing. Placing a piece of cork bark or a half-log hide at one end gives them a solid roof to start a burrow underneath. Setting up this precise terrain gives the spider absolute baseline security, eliminating the spatial stress that causes defensive behavior and poor health. With the ground built, we have to dial in the invisible atmospheric variables to match the open air of that South American savanna. This graphic tracks our 2 key environmental metrics. First, temperature. You need to maintain a gradient of 75 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit, making sure there is a slightly cooler spot in the tank so the spider can retreat if it gets too warm. Second is humidity. The ideal range here locks in at 60 to 70%. You hit this mark not by soaking the tank, but by keeping a shallow water dish filled and occasionally misting the top layer of the substrate. Fueling this growth requires a strict insectivore diet that scales as the spider ages. Tiny spiderlings eat crickets or roaches every 3 to 4 days, while fully grown adults only need a meal once a week. All this careful feeding and climate control leads to the ultimate biological milestone and the greatest test of your patience as a keeper, the molt. When a tarantula outgrows its exoskeleton, it displays a terrifying visual indicator. The massive black spider will begin rolling completely upside down, appearing totally lifeless with its legs curled inward. If you see this, do not touch the enclosure. Do not try to flip the spider back over, and absolutely do not drop an insect into the tank. Any physical interference while they are soft and upside down can be instantly fatal. Stepping back and letting nature take its course in that vulnerable moment is incredibly hard, but it is exactly how you guide your spider safely toward that 20-year mark. If we zoom out from the carefully controlled terrarium in your living room, the reality for the Grammostola pulchra species in the wild is extremely grim. They are often called the golden retrievers of the spider world for their incredibly calm temperament. But that docility, combined with their striking jet black coloring, has put a massive target on their backs. Heavy demand from the exotic pet trade has driven aggressive overcollection. Add in rampant agricultural development destroying their native grasslands, and wild populations are now severely threatened. This creates one final, non-negotiable rule if you want to take on this 2-decade commitment. You must explicitly purchase captive-bred individuals. Refusing to buy wild-caught spiders is the only way to keep wild populations in the ground where they belong, ensuring this gentle giant continues to survive both in our homes and out on the savanna.